Good morning, everybody. Welcome to this Workspace 365 partner webinar. This will be a webinar in a series of webinars. For this time, we have created a webinar with some topics that you might be interested in. Hopefully this will be the case. But if not, please let me know if you have topics you want to have discussed in a webinar or otherwise, and so we can pick that up in later webinar sessions. So for those of you who don't know me yet, my name is Gijs van Hees and I'm a success maker for Workspace 365. And so together with our partner success team, we try to support you guys on different levels. So this can be marketing communication, of course, adoption is a very important topic for a lot of you, as we have discovered, and also commercially and strategically. My role is more on the commercial and strategical side. So if you have any questions on that, don't hesitate to call or email me to get some more insights on that part. So my goal is support you in simplifying work for your customers. So for the topics we have chosen to be discussed in this webinar, there are 4 topics we wanted to address in this webinar. The first one is why we focus on simplifying work. So this is actually our mission. It's very important for us and also for our partners to know why we do what we do and what we want to create or reach with our partners and also with the customer and eventually also with the employee working with our solution. The other one is the changing role of managed service providers of our partners. Of course, it's also very interesting to know what's going on, how we see things changing. Maybe that are as well, maybe not. But at least it will give us a starting point of how we see things. If you see things different, let us know, because it's always very interesting for us. The other one is very interesting for you guys as well is future integrations. We have noticed that integrating and creating integrations with line of business applications are important. So information is getting more and more important. So that's the topic I want to discuss with you as well. And then of course our update 3.0. A lot of you are already running on 3.0. We are getting loads of happy and good replies from customers, but also from our partners who really love it, who really now love demoing it to customers and stuff like that. So, and that part is the look and feel, our new partner level I want to discuss with you as well, and our Partner Boost program and what this can mean to you guys. So, why are we here today and what has happened over the past few years? So, first some insights on how we are doing. We are now active in over 14 countries, so that's really amazing, over 3 continents. And this month we will sign our 100th white label partner, so we are really excited about that. And our team is growing as well, so that's really awesome to see. So if you have any input on how we can accelerate Workspace 365 in your country, let us know, get in contact with us and make sure to search collaboration with us, so how we can accelerate Workspace 365 for your customers and also in your country. And more on that will be part of the integration topic as well in this webinar. So how do we get there? So how partners, how do we get in 14 countries? The short answer is really simple. We try to boost our partners, we try to boost our customers, we try to boost employees that are working with Workspace 365. How do we do this? What we try to do is we try to simplify work for you guys, for customers, for employees. And we also try to think with our partners on how we can set up the best possible Workspace 365 proposition for you as well. And how do we simplify work? Well, we try to simplify work, and we simplify work with our adaptive workspace. So these 3 words are very important to us, and you will find these 3 words mentioned in our communication quite often. But it makes things simple, and that's what we like to do. So then again, what do we see today? And why do we focus on simplifying work for customers and employees? So there are a few items, a few topics, a few things that are happening with the customers, with our partners that I want to discuss here. What we think makes it very important for employees and for customers to have one central point for all applications, informations, and stuff like this. So what we see happening is that customers are upgrading their legacy systems. So what we see is that there is a rise in web applications, and we see this especially in the line of business. So the largest portion of your company is probably already working with cloud applications. So there is less need for a traditional remote desktop solution, especially when web applications are growing. The browser, Chrome, and more videos being used within the browser, and all that computes to less experience within the remote desktop. So, besides that, we are also getting more and more applications, more and more web applications. So that also means that employees are getting more and more access codes to. That is also a very important thing that we have to keep in mind when setting up a new workspace for a customer or employees, is the fact that they are having the need to manage more and more access codes. So the single sign-on part of the entire workspace proposition is very important. So another thing, and that's something I already mentioned, is that there's a need for companies to get more insight in data. So there is already a lot of data within line of business applications or other applications. But what we see happening is that getting the information out in a simple manner, or getting processes out of those line of business applications, is increasingly more important. But not all employees are gurus with a specific application. So what we see is that we need smart integrations, employees, with getting the right information out and getting the right processes out and presenting those processes and information in a simple manner that they can actually use within their workspace. So that's also something that will be discussed in the integration part of this webinar. And then maybe the most important thing that we see happening is that people's work is changing, and how they want to work is changing. So very often heard 3 words is any place, anywhere, anytime, and also on any device. So 4 words actually is also an important part of why we try to simplify things, because you already have so many different devices. You want to work anywhere, any place, anytime, but you do want to have one central point of access to all your information and applications that stays the same. So on a Windows device, you have got your Windows launcher, of course, but then again, on your iPad or on your telephone, how do you access your applications and information then? So especially for those employees, it's getting more and more important to get a central point of access to all your information and applications, even when okay, even when telephone ringing, blah blah blah. Okay. So the way people work is changing. So they want to work any place, anywhere, anytime, and on any device. So therefore, it's getting more and more important to get one central access point to all your applications and information. So with that, we see less thin clients and more managed devices, or bring your own devices, like, for example, your own laptop or your own telephone or your own tablet, for example. So this is where we think Workspace 365 really comes in handy. So we support employees by giving them one personal online workspace, which presents all their relevant applications, information, and processes. And not only do we do this based on their role within the organization, which of course is very neat and handy, but we also do this based on their location and based on their device, for example. And I think that's a very cool thing that we see happening, and will see happening more and more, is that you will get the right information and processes when you're on specific devices. So a caretaker is probably working on something else when they are on a tablet than when they are working on their laptop or PC. And this is something we can support already. So that's why we focus on simplifying work for customers and employees. So this will always be a factor that we will take in consideration when developing new functionalities within the workspace. So what we see happening is that customers want more control over IT, but they don't want to manage it, as this is not their core business anymore. So we have seen the shift from managing servers and data within the company itself to managed service providers. Then it went to larger managed service providers, the hosting for most of you guys, and then we saw that pretty much all the hosting is being done within the public cloud, as of course all web applications or cloud applications are managed at the ISV. So what role does the managed service provider has? Well, we see still that the managed service providers are playing a crucial role, especially on the part of advising customers on adoption, for example, but also on keeping them sharp on continuously better processes within the organization and looking at integrations and licensing, for example. So that's a really important role of our managed service providers we see now happening. So if you look at the entire picture, you've got a lot of software, you've got a lot of hardware to manage as a managed service provider. And what we try to do is we try to be the dough, so to speak, in which you can plot all those elements of software and hardware which you can advise customers on. And you managed service providers are actually the IT chefs in the kitchen that create a presentation layer that is functional and also helps companies to create and to make their goals, and eventually to create a workspace environment for each and every different employee group within the organization. So this is pretty much how we look at you guys, the IT service providers, and also how we think we can create together a presentation layer in which you can plot all those software and hardware elements and getting the best out of the workspace for each and every individual employee within the customer. And that's also why processes is getting more and more important, and to make sure that the continuously improvement of processes with the customer plays a central role, I think, for the future, especially 5, as we also try to develop a platform and be pretty much an evergreen platform with new and improved features every 3 to 5 weeks. For the third part of this webinar, and for you guys maybe the most interesting, I'm not sure, but we see that integrations are getting more and more important. So as I already said before, we try to simplify work by getting relevant data and processes from line of business applications directly into the workspace. So which actually means that when you have to do your declaration, for example, you don't have to go to the financial application and search for the process, but it might be something that you do once a week or maybe once a month. And maybe that's the process you can actually help employees with by creating a process within the workspace so that they can easily fill out the right form and the data is being pushed to the backend system, to the line of business application, the financial application for this specific example. And there are also cases in which you want to have information to be found very quickly information from different applications. When you're on the phone, for example, with a client or a customer, you want to search for a specific information from a line of business application without having to starting the application up and waiting for the application to be up and running and then searching for the item. Employees might be quicker off when they can access the information directly within the workspace. So creating those integrations are a big part of our roadmap for upcoming year. I will show you a few integrations right now, and eventually we have so we have got our business app builder, of course, which you can access already. But creating the integration with the line of business application using the API, for example, is still something we have to do. But for the short future, what we want to realize is to be able to give you guys the possibility to connect and integrate line of business applications for your customers, so that you can actively push and implement simplified work for your employees, for the employees and for the customer. So that's going to be a big part of our future because we can't create all the integrations that are needed to support all the customers you guys already have right now. So a few examples of how those integrations might be working or could work. So one of the integrations we already have is the ticketing integration. So we already have a Topdesk and a ConnectWise integration. So what you see here is that you see the open tickets on your account, and you can create tickets. You can easily create new tickets, for example, using the plus icon on the left bottom corner. So this is actually an integration we created pretty much for our partners, because it gives the employees on the other side that use your ticketing system a way easier and more user-friendly experience on the ticketing part. So this really can help your customers with the Workspace 365 proposition in getting in touch with you guys. So for healthcare in Netherlands, we picked one of the largest electronic client dossier applications. It's called ONS NeedApp. So what we see here pretty much is that a lot of the relevant information for employees, for care employees, is stored within this application. So nothing is based on Microsoft Outlook, for example. So the calendar or the planning agenda of this specific employee comes probably from the care system, so the ECD system. So it might be very handy to get the actual planning from this application directly within the Workspace. Also, for example, the hours you've been working on different clients, for example, is something that is, in the Netherlands at least, very important to keep track of your time and hours you have spent on clients and also in the office or courses, for example. Another integration we thought of together with our partners and of course also some customers is to quickly and easily find clients, for example. And if you are searching for a client, if you click on that client, you might find the most relevant or most important information from that client. Not only the address or telephone number, but maybe also possible allergies, blood type maybe, emergency numbers, stuff like this. So this could be very useful in creating a better and more simple, more accessible workspace for your care customers as well. So of course this is an integration we have now created with ONS NeedApp, a Dutch application builder. But I can imagine that there are, of course, in other countries, other electronic client dossier applications that we should connect with. So if you have ideas on this, do let us know, because it's very important and interesting for us to know, especially when there is a good business case for it. Then we can see what we can pick up together. Also for education, we have created some lifestyles based on educational applications. So for the Netherlands, again, that is, for example, Magister, also Osiris, and a lot of educational institutions are now working with the Open Educational API, the Open Onderwijs API, in Dutch that is. But again, we sat with some partners, we sat with some customers in education country, and we thought what would help a student when doing their time at school. So we created like 6 lifestyles for this, just to give you an idea. For what has to be done on different days. Of course, maybe your mentor class and students from your mentor class to be searched. Maybe some notifications from these educational applications. Also very important, of course, is your roster. So planning, where do you have to be, at what time, for which course. Maybe even more important to students is which people are not there at school. So which teachers are not in because they are sick, for example. Very important. So you have hours that might not go through. And then again, of course, also a very important one is your grades. So wanting to have your last grades within the workspace actually really helps the students after, for example, a grade period or an exam period, that they don't have to go every time to the application, the educational application, but they can just open their workspace and see whether they have a new workspace. So again, if you have integrations, we might or we should look at within your country. Do let us know, because especially when there's a business case, because we want to create impact, and with education we see that we can really create impact with our solution. So then one of our already pretty old integrations we thought of is the VoIP integration. So this one was already created maybe 1.5 to 2 years ago. So from this we created our address book, which is already available within the workspace. But again, we want to give employees very easy access to their phone, to their soft phone within the workspace, without having to create or open a new applications that doesn't have the same interface, or that is maybe a little bit difficult for the employees. So this is something we thought of already some time ago. We now do see really some traction on the VoIP part, especially with customers looking to switch to VoIP. So this is also getting more and more interesting for a lot of our customers and partners as well. So again, we looked at important VoIP providers within the Netherlands. So this would be probably Broadsoft, for example, and maybe also Teams. When this is better developed, the Teams API is still in beta, so for us that's quite difficult to develop on. But again, if you have VoIP software in your country that's high on the list, or you have a lot of customers working with this specific software, do let us know so that we can figure out a way how we can create the best possible workspace and simplify work for your customers.
Ja, klopt.
So one of the latest integrations or developments I need to add here is not as much an integration, but more of an future view of how we like to order and manage things within the workspace. So what we saw happening is that they're getting more and more content and information within the workspace. So you've got your line of business applications, you've got your office productivity, you've got your intranet elements, you've got your social collaboration, you've got your reports and graphs, for example, from Power BI, calendar, email, Yammer lifestyle. So there are a lot of things going on already within the workspace, but we saw that there was a need to be able to manage all these different types of content. And so what did we came up with? We created, we are going to create different tabs within the workspace, so you can order different kinds of information, different kinds of processes within different tabs, so that it is possible for employees to work even more efficient with the workspace itself. So first we will make this available for the admin only, and after the first we will collect your feedback as well, and then iteration after iteration we will make this tab functionality or space functionality available. No, something we are really looking forward to in regards on being able to create a very simple view, and different views for the end user. If you have any questions on this, do let me know. I would expect this to be within half a year, maybe a year, so not too long, hopefully, from our end. So a lot of you have probably noticed, but we have created an update 1.5 weeks ago. And with that we also launched our new Workspace 365 branding. So we now have Workspace 365 pretty much as our company name as well. And of course we created the new look and feel for the Workspace 365. And customers are already on the 3.0 version. We are getting a lot of positive feedback on this. So a lot of maybe a little bit hesitant on updating to 3.0, but I want to emphasize on the fact that we will never do an update this big without informing you before. So normally we always inform you guys 1 week in advance. This time we informed you already maybe 2 or 3 weeks in advance, and we will never change the settings of the workspace for your customers, for example. So in this case, the only thing that happened is that we created rounded corners for on the tiles to give it a more modern look. What we did is we created multiple branding options now. We don't change the branding that was already available, but there are now a little bit more branding options. So for example, you can invert the header to white, and you can set all tiles to be branded like one of the 2 branding colors. So that makes it really easy to create a very clean looking Workspace 365 environment for your customers. If you have questions on this and how to do this for your existing customers, or maybe how to do it for future customers, give us an email or call me, and we will discuss how you can do this best. The other major change is that we have tab functionality, so that we can support more than 3 tabs within a lifestyle. So that's also a functional choice we made, which hopefully will get more features and functionality to the workspace in the long run. So this is for the change in branding, and of course what we centered the entire workspace in the page. So what you see now is that on the left hand side and on the right hand side you've got the same amount of space available. So this was something that was not happening already. Okay. Then our program, we already had a program. We try to support our partners within the different stages which they are at with Workspace 365. We already had the launching partner stage, the accelerate partner stage, but we found that we missed still one stage pretty much. That was the thriving partner stage, level stage, how you can describe it. So the new partner level that we introduced with version 3.0 is the thriving partner status. And a lot of our partners or a lot of customers were asking, can you give an idea on how good or how experienced your partners are with Workspace 365. So that's why the content of the different levels a little bit, so that it becomes more clear to customers how experienced a specific partner is. But every partner can actually realize all three different partners levels. So launching is of course the first status. Accelerate when you have 5 customers or 500 paid licenses, and you become a thriving partner when you have done 10 customer onboardings and maybe 2,000 licenses already. So with that, to keep because we think it's important for you, but it's also interesting for us. Reference can be done in different ways. It can be a movie we generate for you guys with the customers and also with you as a partner, but it can also be a written testimonial, for example. So this is pretty much the thing that changed on our partner level side. We introduced the thriving status level. And yeah, that's pretty much it. So then what we saw, and that is quite interesting, that there were some partners that were doing really exceptionally well. So what we try to do is we help our launching partners with their first 5 customers, setting up the workspace, setting up demo environments, sharing adoption documentation with them, doing proof of concept with their customers, and all these things. So we see that really helps getting the partner started. And then a partner becomes accelerate. They are more self-sufficient. They know when to call us. They know when they need us. And then we help. But there were also some partners that were really growing so rapidly. So what we see happening is that some partners are growing 10% month over month. So they have a 10% growth of month over month growth, as we also now have as a company. So that's really great. But we want to create a partner boost program that supports month over month growth without making it a very difficult program. So what we did is when you have the accelerate status or higher, you can join our partner boost program, in which we set a goal. We set a goal that in 12 months you will grow 10% month over month based on your actual paid license count. So if you start, for example, on 600 euros in month one, then it is fixed what you are going to pay for the second month, third, and so on until the 12th month. But every customer you put live on your platform, even if that is more than the 10% month over month increase, you won't pay any extra. So what you are going to pay in 12 months is set. Every license you sell extra is a bonus to you guys. So this is something we thought of, which we think might help you get the right focus internally, but also helps you guys to grow rapidly with our Workspace 365 solution. So if you already have some customers lined up for upcoming year, this might be a really interesting program for you, as you probably will grow 10% month over month, at least over a period of 12 months. And after those 12 months, you can choose to stop, and then you will pay the actual amount of licenses that are on your platform, or you can continue for another year. So this will probably be difficult to maintain the 10% month over month, but maybe we can figure something out. Maybe it should be 7.5 or maybe 6 month over month growth. But if you can commit to a certain number, and that helps you to get focus within your company, within your company, then this might be a great program for you. If you want to have more information on this, I've got some more information written down in the sheet of the presentation I have here. You will get this recording and also the sheets from this presentation I now showing you. But if you want to have more on this, want to know more on this, please let me know to get in contact so that we can figure things out together and answer all your questions. So within that Partner Boost program, of course, we can support you things, but in this case, you as a partner are in the driving seat. So you know what you miss within your own company or miss towards your customers. So we can help you on many different sides, commercially, marketing, communication, technically, also on the adoption side. So if you are in charge of what you need to be creating the 10% month-over-month growth goal. And we are here to support you guys. So the webinar for today, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you got some new insights. If you have any ideas on topics for next webinar, do let us know, because then we can discuss topics that you guys came up with as well. We can think a lot of topics to discuss, but it's I think important to listen to you guys as well. We already had a lot of questions in the chat. My colleague Laurens pretty much answered, I think, all of them. If you still have a question that wasn't answered, either in this webinar or on the chat, please let us know. You can email me on gijs@workspace365.net or gijs@newdatework.com, or you can email or you can call to the office, or you can email to support@workspace365.net. So, thank you all very much for listening to this webinar. For me, it was the first one of to come. So, thanks again for your attention. Hope you had a good webinar. And for now, all a good weekend.